Good morning, it's Dave at All Important Reviews, and I've got with me today the legendary Victorinox Inox Swiss Army stainless steel 200 meter water resistance quartz watch. This is one of, if not the favourite watch that I have in my collection. It is absolutely stunning and is unbelievably functional and just completely beastly. I absolutely love it, even if it is a heavy mofo. It is a very heavy, big and quite bulky watch, although it's not as bulky as G-Shocks generally. So, spec overview, obviously it's quartz, so it's highly accurate. It's of the Victorinox kind of military style, Swiss Army style watches, so it is a military grade watch as far as I'm aware. It's been tested to high heaven by Victorinox's, incredibly difficult testing regime where they pound it against all kinds of stuff, and I think they've actually driven a tank over it. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's obviously got a stainless steel bracelet. It's the 43mm with a 21mm bracelet, a beautiful bracelet in Victorinox's kind of, it's kind of like a two-link. I've put a scratch in it there, unfortunately. A beautiful proprietary bracelet. They are just push pins, they're not screw pins, with a kind of heavy duty deployment clasp with safety catch. A very good clasp, although it can be difficult to get out. It does have dive extension with a black dial, and I believe it does have a sapphire crystal. I will check that out. I think it is a sapphire crystal. Now, the size of it, yeah, depending on where you measure it from, but yeah, just under 43mm. Thickness is quite a thick watch because obviously it's so heavy duty, 13.5mm. The weight I would guesstimate is around 180 grams because of the bracelet, but you can get it on a rubber strap that's probably about 130 grams, something like that. But the watch, if you do buy it on a rubber band, the watch will be top heavy. So I personally prefer it on the stainless steel bracelet, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Now, the bezel is obviously a fixed stainless steel bezel, and it has this stunning hexagonal look to it where these edges, because you've got these polished edges at the top and then brushed edges on the front face, and it creates this stunning, absolutely stunning simplicity but elegance to it as well. And that's why I love this watch so much, because it is an all stainless steel watch, and I love stainless steel. I love just a silver watch. It's so simple, yet it has this classy elegance to it that for a military watch is brilliant, in my honest opinion. The dial it's not a jet piano black, it's a kind of very dark grey dial with a Victorinox logo, and it says Swiss Army there, if you can just see it, with the 200 meter water resistance. It has a date window between the 4 and 5 o'clock indices, and it says just at the bottom there, it says Swiss made. I've worn this watch a lot over the past 12 months. The crown has again the Victorinox Shield logo on it. I don't know if you can see that. And the case back has some etching, but it is a pretty plain case back, which is expected for a quartz watch. The lume is moderate. I have tried it. I'm not going to be able to show it in this video, but I have tested the lume and it is moderate. They do another watch that is actually called their diver watch that is very similar to this one, but it has a dive bezel. And that watch has superior lume, has much better lume than this one. But the lume is completely fine on this and is adequate. The seconds hand broadly matches up to the indices, to the markers, sorry, which I like. I hate it when they don't match up, although now, if you see, they're just starting to not match up, which it is very difficult for watch manufacturers to get this perfectly right, so I'm not going to hold it against Victorinox if it's not perfect. But it is very, very, very good. Now, the bracelet is a thick link. I'll just measure those links. Right, it's 3.6, 3.5 millimeter thick links. So these are more than your standard dive watches, which are probably about 3 mil or just under 3. I know that San Martin do 4 mil links, but I think they're too thick as an all-day comfort watch generally. These are thick, so this watch is a heavy watch, but this bracelet is stunning. It is absolutely stunning, and with the way that they've done the case, it almost looks like it's integrated, but it's not. It is a straight, it's not curved, it is a straight bracelet, and the lug width is 21 millimeters. But you can easily swap this bracelet for a NATO strap or a rubber band. They are push pins, they're not screw pins, but that's totally fine. And you can get a really, really good fit because they have lots of these half links. The clasp, I believe the shell is pressed, but the swing arms are thick and heavy duty. It works very functionally. It doesn't have push buttons, unfortunately, but sometimes the push buttons can catch the wrist on some models, so I'm not too bothered about that, to be honest. But it can be very difficult to get off sometimes, but overall it's a heavy duty clasp. There is also a dives extension, and you've got your 3 micro adjusts. It's very, very easy to get a very good fit on this watch because of these small links and the micro adjusts. So the clasp is fine. Would have liked to have seen some push buttons on there. It doesn't significantly taper. The watch does not significantly taper like some Rolex watches do. It pretty much stays, you know, I think it tapers a tiny bit. But that's totally fine. There is nothing on this watch bracelet that catches the wrist. I can get a super tight fit. I'll just put it on my wrist. That's a nice, really tight fit. Nothing on the bracelet bothers my wrist. It feels very, very good, and it looks absolutely superb. It's got serious wrist presence. It's thick. Look at how thick that watch is. Oh, it's just absolutely beautiful. The way they've done the bezel with the polished, you know, edges here, and the brushed front is stunning. It gives a really nice look in the light. It's one of the most attractive watches that I actually have in my collection, and yet it's also one of the most simple, which is why I love it so much. I'm never going to sell it. I paid quite a bit of money for this watch, but you can now get it for under £200, which I believe is a steal. The 200 metre water resist is going to mean I'm going to be swimming on it on holiday, and it is coming with me to Thailand next time I go. It's when you feel this watch, you just feel like you're wearing a tank. It's so well made and so sturdy. It's unbelievable. It's almost difficult to believe how you could damage it. And I've dropped it and I've done everything, and other than a few scratches here and there, it looks fantastic still. And this is one of the only watches where I will actually get polished when I scratch it too much. I will pay for it to be professionally polished, and if anyone doesn't know how much that costs, it costs quite a bit of money to get it polished. But I will do it on this watch because I like it so much. So I think for quality control as well, I haven't found any blemishes on either the bracelet or the watch, and I've analysed it a lot. I haven't found any bracelet. Quality control is absolutely superb. For value, again, I think I paid around £320 for this watch, but you can get it cheaper than that. You can now get it quite a bit cheaper than that, actually. Now, I've seen these watches advertised for £500, and I've also seen them advertised for £200 in various deals. I think on Amazon right now, you can get it for less than £200. Now, here's the interesting thing. This model is, I believe, the 241723.1, and this model obviously comes with this deployment clasp, which is what I like. But they do another model that is very similar. I think it is exactly the same watch, but the bracelet clasp is different in that it has this weird, very strange, unique clasp to it that I don't think is as functional or as good, but you can get that a bit cheaper online. And I think the one that I've seen at £170 odd now on Amazon, I think it has that clasp, but I will put the affiliate link below on eBay and on Amazon, and hopefully it is this exact model that has this clasp. But I'm just pointing that out now, that if you did end up ordering it, check out which clasp it is. It costs about £120 to order this bracelet off Victorinox directly. So you could always buy the bracelet if you wanted to. I'm also going to be purchasing, probably next year, the dive version of this watch, just because I love it so much. And I'm going to get that one on their rubber band, which they sell for £50, which is not cheap. But I want to see what the fuss is about, to see if it's better than any of the, Seiko rubber straps or the ones you can get on AliExpress. But when I put it on a kind of oyster flex style one off AliExpress, I felt as though the watch was too top heavy and it was moving around too much, so I didn't like it, so I put it back on the bracelet, because on the bracelet it just looks unbelievable. I wouldn't recommend swapping this for, you could do, and it would work on an NATO strap, but the watch is so heavy that it will probably move around a lot unless it's on a suitably sized bracelet. It's a quartz watch, so you're getting the accuracy. You are going to have to change the battery every few years. But again, I don't care about that. I've mentioned it many times before. I'm not a person who cares about the automatics on the cheap models. On any automatic watch below £1,000, the vast majority of them have terrible accuracy. You're losing 20-30 seconds per day. Sometimes you can get around 10, but the vast majority you're losing loads a day. I'm not interested in that. I'm happy with the quartz movement until you be able to buy a kind of Rolex accuracy of 2 seconds a day, then for very cheap, which may not happen anytime soon, then automatic watches that, I don't really care. I'd rather it have a Mecha quartz or, one of these Japanese quartz or one of these Swiss quartz. That's totally fine for me. So very happy with this watch. They do it in, I think they do a gold version of, obviously it's not actual real gold, but they do it in a gold style case and bezel with a black kind of I think it's, I don't know if it's ballistic nylon or some type of fabric strap. I'll put a link to that down below, but Absolutely stunning watch. One of my favourite watches, if not the favourite in my collection. I wear it every weekend. I love it. Thanks a lot for checking my channel out. Please click the subscribe button. There's going to be loads more reviews coming, mainly watches, and I'm going to review some software as well and other tech like speakers that I've got. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. It's been Dave. Have a great day.